Hey.
How
Oh,
are
I was admiring your Colette, as she should. As
you?
she
I know. I love this. But she says your sweater is also beautiful.
Well,
She is
thank you. Yes,
uh,
thank you.
she is correct about that. I like this main situation that you
Yeah.
have here.
After 18 years, I've invested in a new hair dryer. So it's really we are having a
Oh,
fun
big
time
deal.
working with her. Yeah. The little square that plugs into the plug has had a chip and has exposed wires for the last 10 years or so. And
Hmm.
I just felt, now's the time to invest in safety. So
10 years is the max. Yeah.
yeah,
You can only
yeah.
let that go for so long before
You
you're
know,
just,
it's the biggest deal when you're using it and then you put it away and you forget about it. But you know what? It was time, treat myself. And that's what I did. That's what I did.
good for you. Good for you.
But yeah,
Um,
the sweater, the Colette is a star. She's a star. And I've
she's
heard
a
that
stunner.
class is also a star. People seem to really love it.
We're having a good time. We're having a good time. I feel like I scared everyone when I was knitting this. I kept having to like change things about it and I kept like screwing it up and pulling back and having to adjust everything. But that's because I was working out the kinks so you don't have to. That's what that was. This is like a service that I
Hmm.
provided. So no one's having any issues because I have worked out all the issues. That's part
The
of the
whole,
service.
that's the whole thing. That's the whole point of the class.
Right. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
that is great. That's great.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I've got another version of Colette. I'll paste a little slower on Monday evenings, starting in May. So if you too are dazzled
Hmm.
by this beautiful Colette, you should join me. There are still a few spots left. Jump on in.
Easy, easy. That's
Easy.
a no-brainer. That's a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer. Laura, I have show and tell.
Great. Me too. So you start.
Okay. This isn't related to anything,
Okay.
except our mutual love of snacks.
Oh,
So
hot and
Shane,
spicy.
hot and spicy. So Shane and I love to eat the Pringles local to where we travel. And Shane was just in Sweden. And he came back with two cans of Pringles. One of them was this hot and spicy can of Pringles. Now, I am not a person who enjoys pain of any kind. Even a hot and spicy pain, I do not find comfort in a hot and spicy flavor. So when he's like, "I got this for you," I was like, "Why would you do that? I do not like hot, and I do not like spicy as a
But
flavor."
consider the source. Consider the source.
Exactly. So, he was like, "Listen, uh, this is not remotely spicy at all because it is Swedish spicy. So it just tastes like a kind of weird barbecue flavor." So I was like, okay, but I was still kind of nervous because when you look at this chip, you can see visually. I mean, look at the visuals. There is lots of spice on that chip. There
There's a
is
lot
lots
of
of
flavor. But
there,
it looks analogous to the pizza Pringle, the good old US pizza Pringle.
right?
So I'm glad
Yes.
it's well
You like
dispersed.
I want this is going to be episode 1 of my break off by my sequel,
Great.
my break off so that I can just review snacks.
Great. International
Okay,
snacks.
international snacks. Yeah, Jewel is exactly right. It does not seem like a
INOS.
Sweden flavor. So,
International House of
here
Snacks.
International House of Snacks. So this is the Pringle. Now, upon eating this Pringle, actually, I don't really need to eat this whole Pringle in front of people. I was trying
I
to
think you
describe this.
should. You're gonna save it for later? You should just eat it. You should just eat it.
I was trying to describe this flavor earlier today. It tastes like is if you used a pepper, but took all of the flavor out of the pepper and it just tastes like, I guess, like a green pepper.
So if you just dehydrated a green pepper and put it on there.
Dehydrated a green pepper, but without like oh, that's a refreshing pepper because it's dehydrated.
I feel like paprika can get that way for me sometimes, like the not sweet paprika. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just eating pepper, a dry pepper.
Just eating pepper.
Yeah.
Like a dried pepper. There is not a hint of a spice. There is not a hint of a hot, and there's not a hint of a spicy. It is like, it makes me really miss barbecue. I just love a barbecue chip more than anything on this planet.
I have loved my travels to Oslo, to Copenhagen, and to the United Kingdom, but these are not world food capitals for a reason. I feel personally, you can come for me on this, but the where, especially in Scandinavia, where salt is viewed as pretty spicy, even though there's a real lack of salt,
this could use some salt. This could use some salt. Honestly,
it really, salt is flavor. Salt is flavor. It's the most basic. And honestly, I have to agree with Hannah, who is being a true, proud countryman. She is our neighbor to the north. She is a Canadian, and she is saying Canada leads the chip game. I can't confirm or deny. I just know that to me, there are more exotic flavors. You're right, and they're harder to get, and therefore I like them more because I can't have them all the time. You know what I'm saying? But so would you say, because you do love the European paprika Pringle?
I do love
is that
a paprika Pringle.
On our scale, on our IHOP scale, our ISNOS scale, International House of Snacks, is that the pinnacle? Is that what we're trying to reach when we do these tries?
It's the pinnacle of scarcity plus deliciousness. Yes.
Okay.
Because I can only have paprika Pringles when I am not in America. That is always my go-to. And I did get a can of paprika Pringles on top of this one. If I could go back and channel into Shane's brain, I would have just preferred to have 2 cans of paprika Pringles.
I don't know. As an executive producer of this program, I think I appreciate that he brought content. So that's important above all. So he did the right thing. He made the right call.
I did like when we were in Hungary, there were like 8 different types of paprika Pringles. Which was great because then we could get a can of all 8 and do taste tests to see what is the difference between a sweet paprika and a normal paprika and a spicy hot paprika and a dark paprika and a light paprika. I mean, there was paprika out the wazoo. But I am a woman of simple tastes, and I would take a barbecue potato chip of any variety, honestly, as my go-to chip.
Well, that's fair. Well, and Sabanka says in the comments that in Europe there are much better chips than Pringles, and that is also the case for North America. But what's nice about trying dehydrated potatoes smashed into a half of a duckbill shape is like you don't have you were used to the delivery mechanism, so then you can really understand the difference of the flavor profile.
Yes, so, absolutely. Also, this is extremely travel friendly packaging.
Yeah, you can't get mostly puffed air now because inflation. The bag travels poorly and you get bits.
Bag travels poorly. Yeah, exactly. Where the can travels nicely. Yeah, it travels really nicely. So in that case, Pringles is really the best travel chip. And if you're on the move, you throw one of those little mini cans in your purse. That's a goddamn meal right there. Meal on the go. Yeah. So that is my official review of the Swedish.
It's neither hot nor spicy.
Pringle. Neither
and they have the audacity to print it in English too. It's like, come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Also, I can kind of gather what's happening here. I think the flame is flaming off this flaming hot chili and cooking this potato, and then it's spewing forth chopped bits of the pepper.
Looks like they've
accurate.
Looks like they've created a product for no one. That's too bad. That's a shame.
Yeah. Not great. But as you can see, I have eaten basically this entire can.
Yeah, so, why not? Why
even
not?
The worst chips are still delicious chips at the end of the day.
Well, I'm glad they're not going to waste. So that's good.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. No chip left behind. No chip. So that is my breaking chip news, Laura.
Well, I'm glad Shane made it back safe, and most importantly, I'm glad that the paprika Pringles made it back safe. That's very important.
Because of that travel safe packaging that the Pringles have.
Important.
So, Laura, what have you been working on?
Well, I have been working away on my cross stitch. So I made a lot of progress. I haven't, but I did come upon another detail. You can see a little bit here. The sink has like an opening here, and there's this like trickle coming out of it. Really? I don't know. Hard to say. I don't know. I don't know, but that
someone was washing their hands in the
perhaps
sink, washing the blood off their hands.
Perhaps. So that's some breaking news. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here, but that is of interest to me now. Because the only other possible clue I had was over here, where one of these mugs, when they're eventually completed, is missing a handle. But this seems more egregious to me.
Yeah.
So that's moving at a glacial pace, but I added some of my back stitching to this plant, and it's starting to look real. Like it went from just a bunch of different color blocks to now my plant's coming alive. So that part has been very fun. The problem is, Shira, it is super fun to like work on these scenes together, but only 4 out of the 5 scenes have been published. So we don't even know who has been murdered. So I'm hoping that the story fills in once the final scene is published. But in the meantime, we're all just being like, look how cute. It's almost more fun because we have so little information. Yeah, that is truly like the most hilarious part about it. It was like someone's dead, don't know who. It's really oh my gosh.
You should have gotten like a schedule or something. Like here's the release, and then somebody's dead, and somebody's a murderer.
I hope. My hope is that I've just missed something. My hope is that somebody will, actually me, which is usually not my hope, but that it like is somebody will pop up and be like, oh, here's a blog post with the entire tale and blah, blah, blah. But so far it's crickets. So any information anybody has would be welcome. But in the meantime, we're still having fun with it. And it's a nice slow project if you're going to be chilling for a while, or you continue to have disgusting leather like we have here in Chicago. It's a nice little project. I've been jumping back and forth with that and other stuff. So loving it. Diana Waters. This is Kiki's Kitchen, available at Stitched Modern. If you think you're really good at finding the most minute detail, I recommend it for you.
And that is a good medium for that, because every single stitch is a thing. Yeah. So.
You do have to. I bought it as a kit, which has been great because it is so colorful, which is part of the appeal. The downside is the floss is pre-cut, and that is definitely driving me nuts because I like to go big. I like to have a nice long strand of floss and risk the knotting. I'd rather just do that, but this is pre-cut for me, so it's a lot of like weaving in ends and restarting, and that's tough. That is challenging my patience a little bit.
Well, it's good to know this about yourself. Next time when you buy a kit, make sure you get full floss packs, full floss
Yeah,
pivot.
I think I'm used to sourcing my own floss, and I think I just need to go back to that lifestyle. It's no fault of hers. She did more work for me. I'm just
Yeah.
I have my
You
preferred
just
length.
have a system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have a system.
exactly. So, and then the other thing that I've been jumping back and forth on is my quilt cardigan. So you wore yours last week to the live, and I said I wanted to have everything sewn together. So I did. I've got
And
it sewn
ribbon.
together. Yeah, and now I'm on to the ribbing. So my big theory last week was I knew it wasn't gonna be quite long enough. This hits me pretty much at my under boob when I tried it on. And so I wanted really like a half of a block length, but I didn't want to make whatever it is, 9 more blocks. I was a little over it. So I decided to add this bottom band of like faux half square triangles. And I think I think it works out really nicely. I was a little bit skeptical. I wasn't sure what color to choose, but I think doing the orange at the
I
bottom kind of
love
brings it
it.
all together. Yeah,
Totally.
it's growing on me. So I'm having fun with that, but now I'm in the ribbing, so that's why I keep cross stitching because I'm just like I
Yeah.
get through, whatever the hell. This is like 300 stitches, and then I'm like,
It's so many
break.
stitches. We talked about this last week. It's so
Yes.
many stitches. It's
Yep, needs a
brutal.
break. So it's coming together. It's hard to see. I'm definitely having a hard time seeing the trees from the forest. I think you talked about this a little bit, where
Yes.
when it's in a pile on my lap, I'm like, I think this might be the ugliest thing I've ever made. And then when I pick it up again, I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. Now I'm in the boring bits, which is actually refreshing because it's toning it
Yes.
down, like the more
Totally. That's
ribbing I do.
100% how I felt about it. Yes. And
Yeah.
maybe skip to the neckline too,
Yep.
Laura, because
That's the next
once the
move.
neckline I was like, boom, this is
Yep.
great.
That's the next move. And then I'm doing a different color than all of the rest of the sweater for the sleeves, but I'm going to do this same like beach color, sand kind of color for the ribbing and the neckline, and I think that's going to make a huge world of difference. So those have been the big headlines, and I'm really now that we're here, I am happy with it. But I was definitely on the struggle bus, and I appreciated you bravely going forth to be like, just keep knitting. It works out. It works out. So
Yeah, I really love it. It's very fun and very
yeah,
cozy. And since it's snowing,
yes.
we still need a little cozy sweater action in our
Well,
lives.
and I popped on this was the Willard pullover that I turned into an impromptu cardigan. And I popped that on to remind myself I do love cardigans. It's such a nice life, and helps me combine like my sewn stuff with a sweater. And it just helps with general ventilation. So cardigan life is keeping me motivated. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
you're
for
not
sure.
wrong there at all. I felt that way too. I was like, why don't I have more of these? Cardigans
Yeah.
are great. Yeah.
Right. So it's just to, I think you talked about last week how you worked at an aggressive pace. I think I'm at an aggressive adjacent pace with
Yeah,
this
I will agree
project.
with that.
And because I'm really am trying to twin and take this to camp work from social wardrobe week. I just think we'll just be
We'll
the best
just kill.
influencers at the ball if we get it done. If I get it done.
I
So
believe in you.
I'm trying my best, but it is supposed to be scrappy and like you should take your own time with it. So if you've only got a few blocks, keep going. Just keep going. That's what I say to you. So that's
Yeah.
mostly what I've been focused on because that's a lot of stitches. It's a lot.
That's a lot of stitches. That's a lot of
Yeah.
work. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What
Well,
about you?
I have a tale of woe.
Oh no.
I have a tale of woe because I have been working on my bobble sweater.
Yes.
Which I've been loving, but I've been putting off picking up my second sleeve of my Paul McCartney sweater. So today, the Tigers have a double header. I had 2 baseball games to watch. I was like, that is a sign that you should pick up your second sleeve of your Paul McCartney sweater. So, as you can see, Laura, I have my needle in here. I have picked
Yeah.
up all of my stitches. I am just ready to go. The next color that I need to knit with on the sleeve is the yellow.
Gorgeous.
So
The star of the show.
I put this to the side and I'm looking in my bag and I'm like, there's no yellow. Wouldn't that have been funny if I spent
I
2
was
hours
hoping
looking for it and then it was actually in the bottom of this bag? I cannot find this ball of yarn to save my life. It's making me insane.
So I'm doing acting right now because Allyson texted me this issue earlier, and I also looked around my house because talk about water everywhere and not a drop to drink. Like Allyson not being able to find the one yellow yarn, like her very favorite color of yellow yarn is what, as I'm like staring at yellow yarn in a project bag right behind you, you know, it's just like.
That's why this is disheveled. I was like, oh, maybe I put it in this bag. No,
right.
Maybe I put it in that bag. Maybe I put it in this bag. I have a vague memory of the ball being out at some point and me being like, oh, put it away. Vague memory. Because sometimes the cats like dig around in the bags.
Yeah.
You know, I try to close them up, but it's just a drawstring. So
right.
they're a little wily, but most of the time I find like a trail. Like it's open and I find the trail and then I find the rest of the ball and I wind it back up and I put it away. The fact that I like secured the ball so much that one of these little fuckers grabbed the ball in their mouths and like ran away and hid it from me, it seems extremely unlikely that happened. I spent a full hour and a half being like, oh, you're an idiot. It's got to be here. Oh, no, you're an idiot. It's got to be here. Oh, no, you dummy. It's got to be here. Okay, the cats put things here. Oh, if Shane finds something, he puts it here. Oh, maybe it's maybe I stuck it under the bed with the flashlight on the phone behind everything. I do not live in a big apartment. This ball of yarn needs to be
happens to me all the time. I mean, look
I'm
at all this
crazy
crap behind me. Well, okay, let me show you something. I think I can find it quickly. I think I can. Let's see. And maybe I'll miraculously find some. Nope. And I
keep being like, look in the most obvious place, right it's in your project bag. It's just not.
Well, okay. I thought this was going to be a hilarious. Yes. Okay. Hilarious show and tell. I do have it. So, in my, I have a bunch. Yes. I have a bunch of like one mitten projects, whatever. And then this winter, I was like, you know what, get it together. And I had like this much of a second mitten knit. And I was like, get it together and finish this out. This was all hanging out in a bag. This, the gold here is the sunflower heather that Allyson was looking for. Like, this is what she's looking for. And I was like, you look how much I would have left over from a full skein. But then I remembered that I also had this same problem looking around for like, where did that one little skein of sunflower heather end up? So I do have in my possession sunflower heather in Scout, which is DK. So and honestly, visually, I don't know, maybe you can see it, but it's really close. I was going to make a pitch to you to try to do the arm with Scout, but I can tell you that feeling wise, this mitten is much thinner than this. I feel like visually you can get away with it, but because there's enough of this light stitch going on, but it just is too different. It's too different. It was enough to convince myself. That's why they still sit in my little
great
project trousseau, because I'm like, someday I'm going to need a last minute project for someone that doesn't, or gift for someone that doesn't knit, and they won't really notice that these are two different thicknesses.
Someone who has one hand that's always cold and one hand.
Yeah, a Green Bay Packer fan will love it. But it is just a little bit. Yeah, I can really see it in the Zoom. But that's why I had that one little bit of sunflower heather left over from this saga. I suppose I could give this to you and you could rip it out and pry the sunflower heather out of this. But
I
that's all
know.
I
I
could
was
come up
looking at
with.
Shane's sweater too. I was like, you little bastard, you got that whole sweater. Oh, I'm just gonna rip out one sleeve so I can have my sweater. Yeah, so I've just been pulling my hair out all day. Like, obviously, anytime I sit down, I'm like,
Because obviously you could buy more. And that's not the point. The point is it's in the house somewhere.
Yeah, I have already. So it'll
I
be
did
on it
look.
shortly.
I did look. Well, that is horrifying, and I'm very sorry. And it's all too relatable for me. I keep being like, I'm getting organized. I'm putting things closer and closer together, but I'm throwing things out. I'm donating things, but it's never the one thing you need. Never.
No, it's never the one thing you need, especially with the one thing you need where it's just supposed to have lived for the past week. Because I just finished that goddamn sleeve last week, and I've been putting off the second sleeve for a week. And I was like, today's the day, Allyson, you're gonna crank out quite a few inches of the sleeve. No sunflower heather. So now I have to wait for that to be delivered. And I had a dream too, Laura, of wearing this stupid sweater to Camp Workroom Social in a couple weeks. So hopefully my sunflower heather comes and I can crank out the rest of that sleeve, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Drama over here. But that does mean that I can just continue
bobbling.
Bobble away. So here is my Louise Pullover. God, she's cute. Look at her. Look at her. She is gorgeous. So I've separated my little sleeves here, and I've got a good amount on the body. Now I did learn from past mistakes, and you can see this armpit area here, Laura, bobble free.
Free and clear. I love that. I love that.
Bobble free, because no one wants a bobble right here. No one wants that. It's terrible.
No.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
So yeah, I've just been going to town on her. She's so cute. I love her. I put the neckline in. She's also very cute. Everything about this is great. The gauge on this pattern is wild.
You'd mentioned, yeah.
I can't get over it. Good thing we're doing it first.
Good thing we're doing it first. I agree. I believe I've settled on my yarn for that project. Since speaking of twinning, for my version of that project, and I think it's just going to be yarn that I dyed at a natural dyeing retreat with Sarah Hampton. I think it's going to be my indigo dyed worsted weight yarn. I think it's going to be an indigo dream.
That.
Yeah. It'll be beautiful. Nice. I need to prep the yarn a little bit, which is fine. I just have to, put on clothes I don't care about and get ready to turn my hands Smurfy blue. But then I think that's the ticket. So I'm really excited. I think it'll be really gorgeous and fun to knit with.
Oh my God. So. Very. I love that.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been practicing with this, Laura, is knitting my bobbles without turning. So knitting back and knitting forward and knitting back and knitting forward. So I'm excited to talk about that more. I've been practicing. It's going better and better. Yeah.
So. Love that. You certainly had enough practice, and there's a lot of bobbles on that sweater.
Yeah, a lot of bobbles.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, bobbles aplenty. So now this is my only project that I actively have yarn for. So I guess that's what I'm going to be working on until my sunflower heather camper comes in the
It'll come so fast. It'll come so fast.
Crank my sleeve. It better. I'm so bummed. Or I'm going to miraculously find that goddamn ball of yarn. Yeah,
I think Lisa's
exactly on. Right. Yes, I will find it as soon as the new one arrives. 100%. Yeah. Oh, well. Some things are just not meant to be. So, yeah, what are you going to do? That is what I'm doing over here, Laura.
Well, I think both of us, compared to previous weeks, are relatively focused. So that's good for us. Just keep it on track, getting a lot done. Yeah. Love to see it. Love to see it.
All right. Well, if you are a member of LauraAllison.party, you have noticed a lot of things popping up in your feed lately. A number of those things dropped yesterday when we did our next couple of level up series, got those on the books. We are going to be talking about notions. This was a special request from one of our party people, Sharon. What notions do you actually need? What notions are bullshit? What notions does no human on this planet need, but everyone continues to buy?
It'll be hot takes, I think, but and usually different points of view. So come on, we always love a good old chat. We're learning. Yeah. So come to Notion time.
We're also going to be giving tips on how to size your sock perfectly sized socks. So we're going to talk about the ins and outs of that. I have a sock in my heart. That's going to be my travel project coming up.
Nice.
We have some travel coming up at the end of the month. And I love socks as a travel project. So we're going to be talking about perfectly fitting socks. And Laura, we go to Iceland in like 10 weeks, which is very crazy. So 8 weeks, actually. So we have been working hard on getting the schedule together, getting the packing list together. And if you are going to Iceland, you might have noticed, Laura, did you notice that you got a badge?
I did. Yes.
Big deal.
Yes. Badges are happening on the Mighty Network. I am so excited to see it. So excited to see it.
So those are fun. And then we will be talking, a level up series is just going to be all about Iceland because we've got a level up right after we get back in June. So look at the event page in the Mighty Network and get yourself RSVP'd. It's going to be a good time.
Totally. Yeah. Lots of level ups. We also, speaking of travel, Allyson and I are going to be out of town at the end of April, which means we will not be in the city of Chicago for YarnCon once again. We get busy at the end of April. It is what it is. But we have our intrepid volunteer, Meg, has volunteered for the second year in a row to lead the meetup. So we published meetup details for party members in the general Our Party Biz. So if you are around on April 20th and want to meet up with party people and the beautiful Meg, check out that event listing.
Nice. Yeah, it's almost like we plan not to be here, Laura, but we don't. It just always happens.
That's our peak season. Our peak season really in the spring, it's like March, April, busy. September, October in the fall, busy. And then we're working on getting much busier in the summer, which is a perfect segue, honestly. But yeah, that end of April is always a tough one. It's always good to get out of Chicago in March and April, at least at one point. So we do try to be elsewhere because it just gets a little samey.
I did notice that Worldwide Knit in Public Day is going to be when we're in Iceland.
Oh, well, we'll participate. Literally worlds.
With everybody.
Literally worlds.
Exactly. So that'll be fun. That'll be good pics. Yeah. Knitting on a glacier, normal shit like that.
Yeah. If you are, if you want to start some party clusters around the world, shoot me a message. We can have a couple of different listings on your behalf. So shoot me a message.
Okay. All right. And very exciting this morning, we launched more Sweater Club dates, which are coming up. The first one is going to be May 4th. So a month from today. And then we are going to have a Sweater Club series that starts at the end of June and goes through the end of July. And those are going to be Sunday mornings. So we're going to have 4 Sweater Club summer dates where you can come, buy one, buy a couple, buy all 4, and come hang out with us in the beautiful weather. That'll be nice. when it's sunny and not snowing, rain snowing on us. Oh, I can't wait for June. Sounds delightful.
Yeah.
So we are partnering with a really fun organization called Small Gathering. This woman named Casey reached out to us. She has a lovely space. She teaches, or she hosts mostly children's art workshops, but is looking to get more into adult workshops. And that's where Laura and I are going to come in. So we are also hosting a beginner knitting workshop in July that you can register for a spot for. I don't know why you'd be watching this if you are not a knitter, but I know you all know non-knitters who always look you in the eye and say, I can't wait to learn to knit. I've wanted to learn to knit forever. Point them to smallgatheringart.com and get them a spot in this workshop. It's going to be great. And then Casey is also going to be hosting us for these summer sweater club dates.
Series. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really nice, comfortable, cozy spot, like right behind the Trader Joe's on Lincoln by Botanical. So very familiar area for a lot of people who have been joining us so far for our sweater clubs since we launched those a couple months ago. So hopefully we can just get some hands-on help, hands-on learning from Laura and I. Those are all going to continue to be $45 per session, and that includes light refreshments.
Very light.
Light refreshments. Yes. I love snacks, Laura.
Yes. I don't think that the hot and spicy will make it until June, but it's similar vein, little snacks.
Little snacks. So you can sign up for one or all of those spots at lauraallison.com. And Laura, we have our last Sweater Club happy hour is next Sunday at Half Acre.
Yeah.
And I was poking around the website today and I saw we still have 4 spots available.
That's correct. Yep. That's correct. So if you're free, come on over.
It'll be a good time. Yeah, it'll be great. So that is big business.
It's a lot. And it's exciting. And then not this Friday, but next Friday, we have another level up as well. Talking all about yarn. It's a big yarn chat. And the questions are rolling in already. So I think it's going to be a really good one. I think there's a lot of burning questions that you've all had. And it'll be nice to keep that all in one spot. So on the Friday, the 12th, you can join us for Level Up on Friday. Friday as well. So that's a big weekend. Lots of content for you. And we would love to see you virtually on Friday and in person on Sunday. That would be lovely.
Yeah. That'll be great. Whew. Is that all? That's
all that's fit to print at the moment. As always, we will continue to come at you with all kinds of cool stuff, but that's enough for one session, I think.
That's enough. Yeah. I think that's enough too. I feel good about it. So Miss McDougall, what you been watching?
Well, I really can't even focus. My camera can't focus and I can't focus because I haven't been watching much because all I've been doing is been listening to Cowboy Carter on a loop since it launched last Friday. There is nothing else in my life. There's nothing to do. I just watched Cowboy Carter and then watched TikTok reactions about Cowboy Carter, and then I just listened to Cowboy Carter all day long. So I'm mostly just doing that. And have no regrets about it. It is everything I hoped for and more. It is so good, and I love it. And so I was like, oh no, I'm not going to have a whole lot to chat about this week because I just listened to Cowboy Carter constantly. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm just rewatching stuff so that I can cross stitch. So
cross stitch, you got to have eyes down.
Yeah. So I just revisited, I was telling you about this the other day, Allison, but we had talked about, there is this movie called Long Shot that came out in like 2019 with Charlize Theron running for president, and her speechwriter Seth Rogen is her unlikely love interest, and that movie is just really just very charming. Yeah, it's a fun movie, and it at the time I didn't rewatch it at the time because she runs in 2020, and like there's like a lot of 2020 signage and stuff, and it was like at the time I was like, right at the time I was just like, too soon. But now I'm in a place where the whole world's on fire, whatever. So I revisited that and just really loved that rewatch. And now I'm rewatching that show Love with Paul Rust and Gillian. I forget her last name, but I'm rewatching that. I haven't watched that in forever. And speaking of from an olden time, I'm just working my way through that and doing chores and what have you. So that's what I'm watching. A lot of old stuff and Beyonce. Yes. What about you, Allyson?
Well, I would like to acknowledge Sarah G in the chat. Lost City also is a great movie. Laura, have you watched this yet?
I don't think so. I think I will.
Sandy B and Channing Tatum. It's fun. Kind of like Romancing the Stone. It's kind of like an updated Romancing the Stone.
Fun. Love.
And Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter himself, is the bad guy.
Fun. Well, I'm in.
Having a great time. It is the best plane movie. It is my new plane movie. My new go-to plane movie is Lost City.
Super.
It is great. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I love it. But I'll add that to like the long shot of just watchable nice.
Yes. Yeah. Watchable nice. Yeah. Everybody had a great time making that movie, including Brad Pitt, who pops up for a hot second. Very sweet. I also really like how Channing Tatum always is in movies with like older women that he's like crazy into.
Great.
I do.
That's a great career move. Yeah. That's a great career move.
Yeah, it's great. One of Shane's favorite movies actually is Romancing the Stone.
That's a good choice.
We watch Romancing the Stone in my house a lot. And I was like, Shane, we should watch Lost City, because I watched it on a plane and I was like cackling, laughing. Because you know how on a plane things are either sadder than they really are or heightened. Right. So I was laughing my ass off watching this movie. And I was like, I think it would still be really good watching it not at altitude. And he's like, I would rather just watch Romancing the Stone again, because he's old. But I'm going to get him to watch that movie. That's a good one. So that's a good rec. That's a good rec from Sarah G.
Super. Love it.
So I binged Is It Cake 3 so hard it was embarrassing. I was almost, if I would get embarrassed about things that I like, that would have been embarrassing, because I love that show so much. It's so dumb and adorable. And there's a new season that dropped on Friday. By Saturday night, it was done. I watched all of it.
Well, it's so, I mean, it's aptly named. I mean, it is like, dessert. I mean, it's just like, you want more, and of course you do. Like, you just do. And it just plays at you. You're not, what are you going to navigate away from that and then do like the doom scrolling through all the things? That's what I've been stuck in. It's just like menu after menu after menu. It's like,
just because right at the end of every episode, he's like, time to turn the cake wall. And then he's like, oh, I'm back with a new episode. And you're like, yes, you are, Mikey Day. Give it to me, buddy. Is it cake? I want to find out. So I watched every episode of the new season of Is It Cake 3. And then I was like, wow, I'm all done watching every season of the Traitors. So I got to find a new thing, to watch. And I went on Peacock and they were like, no, Allyson, there is a new season of Australian Traitors. And I was like, oh my God, this is a great day. And I have every single episode. They dropped all the episodes at once. So pumped. And I got 3.5 episodes in before I was like, oh, this is the worst season of the Traitors that's ever been made.
Shoot, you said that about season 1 of Australia too, right?
No, season 1.
Oh, you loved season 1. Okay.
Season 1 of Australia was so good because they specifically got people who were sneaky humans. They were like secret CIA agents and stuff. And so all these people were like psychological, like warfare on each other.
Whoa.
It was so great. It was excellent. And so at the end, it was just 100% chaos. They took a different route with season 2 and picked the dumbest people in all of Australia, including some reality stars, like Australian reality stars. Like I've never seen any of these people before at all. But
I mean, that would just be like dumbest people in Australia, and reality stars are like that. That right. Is Venn diagram is a circle. So yeah.
And they're so terrible at this. Laura, I got to a point where somebody was realizing that maybe someone was lying to them about something. And they were like, but if this is true, why would you say that this is true? And everyone was like, could they be he be lying? No, couldn't be. You putting that together, you're the traitor, so you're out of here. I mean, it's just like the dumbest people on the planet. So it's not even fun to watch. I almost stopped watching it, and I started fast forwarding through it just to see how it ends. Wow. I Googled how it ended, and the Googling of how it ended kind of makes me want to see how it ends. So I'm going to watch the next couple of episodes just to get to the end.
Okay, so you're sticking with it. You're sticking with it.
Well, I got to a point where I was like, okay, if this happens, I'm not watching the show anymore. And the thing happened, and I was like, turn off. Well, let me just Google it to see how the end is. And it was just everyone on the internet complaining about how terrible the season is and how stupid everyone was and how it was completely worthless. What a waste of time, the whole thing. And then at the end, people were like, but the last 10 minutes kind of pull it back for me. And I was like, all right, I'm back in. So that's what I'm watching. But at a much slower clip than I was. I did just find out that there's a New Zealand season that I haven't watched too.
Oh, so could be fun. Could be fun.
Could better be better than.
Well, I feel like if people made it this far, first of all, congratulations. But second of all, they're going to feel like we definitely buried the lead this whole time because people are going to want to know, how was opening day, White Sox versus Tigers? How was it? Was it everything you hoped for? Did all your dreams come true? What was it like?
It was great, and it gets greater every day because little did I know that the best weather that we have had in the past week happened last Thursday when I went to watch baseball and was outside for like 6 hours. So at the time, I was very chilly and it was cold, but I would not have made it at all since that day.
Right.
So yeah, it was great. I had so much fun.
Good.
Yeah, it was just very sweet. It is easy to get down there. It's only annoying when you're around people who are annoyed by being on the train, like Shane. Yeah. And then I'm like, God, I don't want to do this anymore. But when he's not around to complain about being on the train, you just get on the train and it takes you where you want to go. And then you get off the train and then you stop thinking about the train like a normal person. Yeah. So yeah, it was great. The Tigers won. Fun fact for you, Laura, that is just parading around the internet today is the Tigers are the last undefeated team in baseball. Asterisk, both of their games over the last 2 days have been canceled. So they've only played 4 games, but still. We're running with it.
It counts.
We're running
a win is a win.
Now. It counts. Exactly. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm glad baseball's back. Baseball's barely back though. There's like a nor'easter. I was trying to watch baseball yesterday, but like half the games were canceled because of the nor'easter coming through. Nobody wants this. Last night they were trying to play baseball in Chicago through the sleet. Through the frozen sleet?
No, thank you.
No one wants this. Somebody figure this shit out. Like, God. But I'm not in charge.
But you don't want it to start later, so because you barely white knuckle it to March to get started. So
I know. I know. I think it's smarter to have less of it, but they'll never do less of it. So I don't know. I shouldn't waste my breath.
and I feel like it's a double bind for you because you like it because there's so much of it. So it's tough. That's a toughie. That's just
It's tough.
climate change impacting a lot of things. It's a shame. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
as it turns out. As it turns out. Yeah. So I had a great time. I'm so happy that it's back. I can't wait to go. Laura, we are seeing a lot of baseball this season.
Yeah.
Weather hopefully will be better
It
for us.
will probably not be sleeting. It will probably be 100,000 degrees. So
Yes, we'll be cooked.
yeah,
We'll be
I'm already
cooked.
working on sweat management strategies for the summer, getting some like thigh rub shorts, and life is going to be good.
Nice.
Life is going to be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did wear my thigh rub shorts underneath my jeans to the game because
Smart.
I was thinking about those cold seats and I needed more padding. So those
Yep.
are a really good investment. Yeah, really good investment. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
throw them.
So
Throw them on.
doing
Throw
a
'em
little
in the cart.
research, doing
Yeah.
it. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it is a nice time. I'm just in cozy vibes because of the weather, because of the downshift in the weather. So it's been a lot of rewatch and revisiting. And I can't say that it's been bad for me. I'm feeling like relaxed and productive, and that's a great feeling.
That is a great feeling, especially since shit's about to dial up to 11
Yes.
for us. In 2
Yep.
weeks, we are going to be at Camp Workroom Social, teaching away. And then 2 days later, we are going to Germany for a vacation.
funsies.
So
Yeah.
next week is going to be our last live for a few weeks because we're going to be out and about doing things.
Yeah. And we'll have so much to tell you when we get back. So that's very exciting for everybody.
Yeah. For everyone. So I won't have to have a whole segment about chips.
I mean, they loved it. They love it. They're all loving it. They're eating their lunch and they're like, oh, she's one of us. Yeah.
Chips.
She also enjoys to eat.
My favorite thing. My favorite thing. Yeah. All right. Well, Laura, what do you think? Should we call it a day? We've been going over the last couple of weeks. I think so. Go back. Their time.
I'm hungry. All this ship talk. Time for lunch for me. So.
Ship talk. Yeah. Time for lunch.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Well, as usual, thank you for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. I hope your day continues to go great. Sign up for our Sweater Club
Come
series
to our thing
up this summer. It's going to be great. We'll see everybody very shortly. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.